প্রবাস বাংলা টিভি।
It's a portion of the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The hadith says that, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Zunnu bil mu'minina khayran. Think about a fellow Muslim only good. Sometimes we see people come in different masjid, in different gathering. Many places they come, and we look at them, Muslim, in a Muslim gathering, and then say, we say, no, his qiyam is not correct. The way he's standing, qiyam, it's not correct. Sometimes we say, no, his ruku, it's not correct. That's not the way ruku. Ruku should be like this, like a 90-degree angle, and then I said, no, you go for sajda. No, his sajda is not correct. No, don't do that. Sometimes we say, no, his dress up is not correct. The way he comes. But we do not know. Maybe the person whom we are discussing or criticizing, maybe that person, he has only that thought or only that dress is clean to wear, but he's smiling. He's not saying, he is not exposing his economic status. But we criticize, no, his dress is not correct. We do not know if somebody cannot stand, maybe he's smiling to you, smiling to me, but he is not exposing that he has a back problem. That is why he cannot stand properly. That is why he cannot go for ruku properly. That is why he cannot go for sajda. But still we criticize, my brothers and sisters. We need to control ourselves. This hadith applies Zunnu bil mu'minina khayran. Think about a fellow Muslim, only good. So this applies only to the Muslims like me, fundamentalists. Who is a fundamentalist? The one who follows the fundamentals of Islam. So it will apply only to those, the Muslims, fundamentalists. I'm a fundamentalist. The socialists are the companions. They're all fundamentalists. Why? Because they believe the core of the fundamentals of Islam. If someone says, oh, he's a fundamentalist, don't worry about it. Totally do not ignore. We are all fundamentalists. Okay, so follow the fundamentals of Islam. Anyway, coming back to the topic. One day, a person came in the class of Imam Abu Hanifa, and he comes and he tells, oh Sheikh, Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, he is asking, he's telling the Sheikh, I have a question, because I have a neighbor, he has some strange things he mentions, so I'm not sure if my neighbor dies, should I go and give him ghusl? Should I shroud him? Should I do the janazah? And should I do the burial? Because I have really ambiguity about his Islam. Because he mentions few things. So I'm really doubtful about if he's really at all a Muslim. And Abu Hanifa asked, tell me, what are the questions? Why you doubt that he is not a Muslim? At this, the person is saying that. Listen very carefully. The wordings are very, very technical. He's saying, that person is saying that, my neighbor tells me 7 things. Number 1, he says that he does not believe, he doesn't have faith or iman in the signs of Allah, in what he sees. Very technical. He does not have faith or iman in the signs of Allah, in what he sees. Listen carefully. Second thing, he says that he doesn't fear Allah. Subhanallah. He doesn't fear Allah. Third thing, he mentions that he is not hopeful for paradise. 4, he mentions that he doesn't fear the hellfire. He's not scared about the hellfire. Again, he mentions that whenever I see my neighbor praying, in his prayer there is no ruku and there is no sajda. Again, he mentions that he eats dead meat. Subhanallah. Again, he says that he loves fitna and he does not like haq, truth. What else is left for anyone? When I was also reading, studying, I couldn't believe that what could be the answers to all this. What is left for a person to be called non-believer? Today is my first khudba after my sickness. May Allah grant shifa to those who are suffering. May Allah grant shifa to all those who are suffering. Pandemic time, it's really patience. You really have to go patient. It's easy to say, but going through the patience, that's very important. Remember that. The one who's patient, his reward is there, but double. But double. Remember, patience for you and patience for me also. Okay, coming back. So Imam Abu Hanifa asked all his classes, everyone is present, lots of people, and he asked, oh my students, what do you think about the neighbor of this person? They all became very affirmative. In their face, they could say, of course, he's not a Muslim, but no one is saying anything. Because they are all looking at one particular student in that gathering, in that classes of Imam Abu Hanifa, and that is none other than Qazi Abu Yusuf. Great scholar of Islam. He's a student of Imam Abu Hanifa, direct student. So all the classes, they are looking at Qazi Abu Yusuf. They want him to say. So he understood Imam Abu Hanifa. Then he looked on the face of Qazi Abu Yusuf. Tell me. And this Qazi Abu Yusuf says, oh Shaykh, of course he's not a Muslim. Subhanallah. And then at this Abu Hanifa said, he paused for a little bit. And then he beamed, little smile. He said, I wish all the Muslims' Aqidah were like him. All the people's Aqidah. Because don't you know the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Zunnu bil mu'minina khayran. That's our topic. Think about a fellow Muslim, good, only good. If you dissect the Iman, the faith of a Muslim, 100 portion, and if you find 99 of them are corrupted, but only one portion is sound. So we should, as a Muslim, we should take that one sound portion and give him the benefit of all of it. Then he said, let me give you the answer. As for the question number 1, that he does not believe in the signs of Allah in what he sees. We know the story of Sayyidina Musa. Time short, I'll make it short. We know the story of Sayyidina Musa. Musa wanted to see the Allah, the signs of Allah. That Allah will mention in the Quran. I was reading this 7, Surah number 7, ayat number 143. So Allah told that my manifestation will come if you see the mountain can stand, then you will be able to see me. So the lights of Allah came, and the mountain, the mountain became like a cotton, crumbled. At this, by seeing the light, Sayyidina Musa, he got fainted. And after getting fainted, as soon as he got his consciousness, first thing he said, Qala Musa, Subhanaka tubtu ilayka wa ana awwalul mu'minun. I am the first of the believer. It's mentioned in Al-Quran. If you look, he wanted to see this sign, but if we look at the story of Pharaoh, he saw all through his life, Ramses 1, Ramses 2, he was the worst. The Pharaoh is the lineage. So they all saw the signs of Allah. Through Musa, he did not believe. But when he was drowning in the Red Sea, at that Musa, at that the Pharaoh, he said, now I believe. But that's too late. That is too late. Maybe his neighbor is referring to this, that signs for like Pharaoh, it will be too hard for him, or maybe too late for him. That is why. So as for the second question, he says that I don't fear Allah, subhanallah. So we always have fear about a person who is not like a just or correct. If you know a person is just and he's correct, we don't have anything about nothing to be fear of. So we have seen many judges in this world, in America, in England, in the Western world. A judge gave a sentence on a person, 10 years that mujrim, that criminal, he served, though he's not a criminal, he served 10 years, and after 10 years they find, that person, literally, he's not a criminal. He didn't do any crime. And the judge, it becomes a noise, it becomes a big news that, oh no, it was a wrong sentence, and the government pays him $10 million, whatever. Many times you have seen the judges, they are wrong. But here, Allah is, إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ قُصُّ الْحَقُّ وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْفَاصِلِينَ Allah, alaysa Allah bi ahkamil hakimin. Allah is the perfect judge. Allah does not do any mistake. So in this capacity, maybe his neighbor is referring to that. He doesn't fear Allah because he is confident of Allah. Allah cannot do anything. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Ayat in Al-Quran. Fear that day when you will be present in front of Allah. And anyone who is doing whatever, they will get their result according to their deed. And no one will feel wronged. Even the person who is going to Astaghfirullah Jahannam, may Allah save us from Jahannam, he will also know why he is going to Jahannam, because he did mistake. وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. No one will feel wrong. In this capacity, maybe his neighbor is saying that he doesn't fear Allah. Why do we have to be fearful about Allah? As for the third and the fourth, that he doesn't hope for paradise and he doesn't fear the hellfire. Imam Abu Hanifa is telling the answer. What is paradise? Creation of Allah. What is hellfire? Creation of Allah. Paradise doesn't have any authority that they will come, hey, you come, Brother Faisal, please come and enter and have a good time. No, paradise doesn't have any authority. Authority comes from Allah. So whenever Allah decides, then they will enter. So in that capacity, what does I have to do? Why I have to hope for paradise? He is hoping for Allah's mercy, not for Allah's mercy, then he will get everything. Same applies for the Jahannam. That the Jahannam cannot call somebody, hey, come on and get burnt. No, it is the creation of Allah. In that capacity, his neighbor is saying that I don't hope for paradise and I'm not fearful about the hellfire. As for the question, he mentions that every time I see my neighbor is praying, but in his prayer there is no ruku and there is no sajda. We all know Salatul Janaza, Ghaibi Janaza, there is no, in Janaza prayer there is no ruku, there is no sajda. Maybe when you're watching, you're seeing him, whenever you see him, he is praying, but he is praying Ghaibi Janaza for all those brothers and sisters died all over the world who could not get any Janaza. Maybe he is doing the Ghaibi Salah for them. And as for the mention, the neighbor, he's mentioned that he doesn't, he eats dead meat. Don't you know the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the true blood has been made halal for the Muslim, the spleen and the liver. The spleen and the liver, they're very tasty. When you slaughter the cow or the goat or the camel, these are halal for it. These are two bloods. And the other two dead meat are the fish. When you bring the fish, it's dead already. And the locust, also, I'll tell you experience, locust. You know, few years ago, I'm sure many of you have seen that missionary Rashid Al-Afasi eating the locust. Because people grow, the poor farmers, they grow, and all of a sudden, the pongopal, the locusts, they come. The pests, they come, and they eat the crops. Allah says, no problem. Oh, the locusts. You will eat their crops, I will make you their food. And there will be beneficial food if they eat you. You can eat live locusts, and you can eat fried locusts also. They taste like chinging and like a shrimp. This is it. And as for the thing, his neighbor is mentioned that he loves fitna. His neighbor loves fitna. Allah says in Al-Quran, إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. Maybe he's referring to this. Meaning, indeed, إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ, indeed, the worldly adorations, the worldly adornments, the business, the job, and the children, we love them so much so that we forget our life in the Akhirah. That is why he's referring to this, that إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. Indeed, with Allah is the azim, the great satisfaction, even better than your children, better than your wife and parents. Maybe he's referring to this ayat of Al-Quran. As for the other thing he mentioned, that he does not like haqq. Who amongst us is not stupor or unconscious about death? وَجَاءَتْ سَكَرَةُ الْمَوْتِ بِالْحَقِّ ذَلِكَ مَا كُنْتَ مِنْهُ تَحِيدُ. people. Meaning, indeed, the pangs of death is true.